thought you were about to say, well, now right over to Katlejo, kind of linking it with the cat thing that happened there. But no, you didn't. But of course, we are joined by world-renowned nutritionist and an authority on nutrition, Mr. Patrick Holford, who's telling us about his book, Say No to Diabetes. And before we talk, I just want to read an excerpt from the book that says, for every 3 people who have been diagnosed with diabetes, there's another person who has it but doesn't know, and 10 people who have pre-diabetes, increasing insulin resistance and metabolic syndrome. Pretty shocking statistics, and just once again highlighting how important it is that all of us be aware of this, because we actually all stand a chance of developing diabetes.
Well, it's true, and it's part of metabolic syndrome, which about 1 in 3 people have. And so many of today's common conditions like heart disease, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, low mood, memory problems, in women, breast cancer, polycystic ovaries, these are all linked to the same fundamental cause, and of course, weight gain.
Yes.
So if you're gaining weight, especially around the middle, there's a very good chance later in life you're going to develop these diseases. And the good news is the diet and supplements that reverse diabetes, because you can reverse type 2 diabetes, are the same thing that's going to keep you slim and energetic throughout life.
And I think just to kind of recap again what we spoke about a bit earlier on, when I said my grandmother suffers from diabetes, she's dependent on insulin and the medication, and it was a pretty shocking fact that you gave, that the medicine that's given can be damaging to those individuals taking it on. Please just tell us more about that.
Yeah, you don't really want lots of insulin in the blood, because insulin actually lowers blood pressure and is stressful on the kidneys. So what you want to do is start to eat in a way that keeps your blood sugar very, very even. And later on, we're going to be showing you how to make a low GL breakfast. Low GL stands for glycemic load. So a very quick example is that cornflakes release their sugar fast, oat flakes are slow, berries and apples are slow releasing, and bananas and raisins are fast releasing. So if you have cornflakes with banana or raisins in the morning, your blood sugar, it's like putting rocket fuel in a Mini. You get this quick burst of energy, but then you burn out.
It's actually pretty weird, because I thought bananas were pretty healthy. I have those daily almost.
Well, you know, if you're going to climb a mountain, great, you know, they're giving you energy, but if all you do is get in your car and drive to work and sit in a desk, it's actually a lot of sugar. And the body has to do something with that sugar, and it turns it into fat. So what you really want to be eating, I mean, rule number 1 is eat foods that release their carbohydrates slowly. Rule number 2 is to eat what's called soluble fibers. So oats have fantastic soluble fibers. These lower cholesterol, lower your weight, make you feel fuller for longer. And one of the things I give to diabetics, I wanted to show you here. This is a fiber from Japan. It's the most amazing soluble fiber. And if I take 3 of these with a large glass of water just before a meal, it slow releases the carbohydrate in the meal. This is what it's absorbed in the way of water. So this is 15 minutes later.
Wow, okay.
So supplementing a carbohydrate slowing fiber is fantastic. And then 2 other things that really work is there's a mineral called chromium, which is essential. And what it does is that insulin, which floods into the bloodstream, takes the sugar out of the blood. What happens later in diabetes, like with your grandmother, is that the receptor, like the docking port for insulin, stops working, and this is called insulin resistance. And you can get that insulin receptor working with the mineral chromium together with something in cinnamon, which is called MCHP. It's an extract of cinnamon. So if you have cinnamon and chromium supplement plus these fibers, plus the right food, those are the 3 factors. And the 4th factor is exercise. You need to do...
All important.
Very important. I mean, half an hour a day, and particularly in older people, what you need to do is build up some muscle. Because from about 35 onwards, people are losing muscle mass. So it's not only about, walking and keeping aerobically fit, but you've actually got to do something that puts on some muscle.
Now, we have a caller on the line for you. Desiree, good morning. Patrick is here.
Good morning.
You're welcome to ask your question.
Yes, I just want to find out, what do you think about the blood type diet, eating right for your blood type?
Okay, this is a diet that's based on if you're an O-type blood or an A-type blood.
A positive, yes, or AB.
Yeah, exactly. And the idea there is that the O-types are more sort of hunter. They function better on more protein. A-types are a bit more vegetarian. They sort of came later in our evolution as sort of peasants, farmers, so to speak.
Okay.
I'm an A. So, and there is some truth to this. But actually, it's all about whether you might be allergic to a food. And nowadays, we run a test which is called an IgG allergy test, where literally from a pinprick of blood, there's a very good lab here in Africa called MDS Africa, you can identify exactly which foods your body is fighting. So some of us do suffer from allergies. Main symptoms, by the way, irritable bowel syndrome, migraines, eczema, asthma, and sort of aching joints that come out of nowhere. So you can become allergic to foods. The most common foods that people become allergic to are wheat and milk. So the blood type diet is kind of, a best guess. But actually, if someone's having problems, I tend to test for allergies. And the amazing thing about food, it's just extraordinary. I met a lady last night, and she had a thyroid problem.
Yes.
And she said, she just came up to me and grabbed me and said, I took your supplements, and they worked in 15 minutes.
And they worked in 15 minutes.
So the human body is incredible. We had a lady who was diabetic for 15 years, injecting insulin. In her case, it took a year to get her to the point where she needed no insulin, no medication, no diabetes. Wow. Totally under control. And people are losing about 7 kilos a month. So there was another guy, he's been doing this for 7 months. He's lost 50 kilos.
Amazing.
No hunger at all.
Yeah.
And by the way, I'm in Cape Town today at 6 o'clock this evening. We're doing a seminar on diabetes and obesity at the Pavilion. So if anybody wants to come, they're very welcome.
Now, Desiree, I hope that you got your answer to your question.
Yes, thank you so much.
Well, thank you very much for calling in. Now, do stay tuned, because today is also Deaf Awareness Day, and today we're going to be learning a bit of sign language, and I know that this means I love you. I wonder what Ewan has got for us.
Stay with Expresso and SABC3.